Goeiedag! Good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And you know what? Philippe actually drew my attention to this very interesting bit of information. It's the travel advisories. And I'll actually put the links down below so you can go and have a look at them. We've got Canada, we got UK, and we have Australia. And what I decided to do was I decided to pull up the Australian travel advisory for Venezuela and to see if it ticked any boxes that you could match with South Africa. And it's practically there. South Africa is practically there. And I'll tell you why. This is from the travel advisory about going to Venezuela. Okay, and it says, Venezuela, overall, do not travel. Do not go. Just don't do it. And this was last updated at the 4th of June, which is today in Australia. Venezuela has closed its land borders with Brazil and Colombia and maritime borders with Aruba, Curaçao, and Bonaire until further notice. The political and economic situation remains very unstable. Monitor local media and follow the advice of authorities. We continue to advise you not to travel to Venezuela. And these are the reasons. And see if you can join the dots with South Africa. I think you might be able to. Do not travel to Venezuela due to the unstable political and economic situation. Food, water, medicine and petrol shortages and high levels of violent crime. Many hospitals are closed. Well, they might as well be closed in South Africa, some of them. Power and water outages are common. Ding ding, that rings a bell. Large political demonstrations are likely in all major cities of Venezuela. This could lead to road closures and travel disruption. Well, look at the N3 over the weekend in KwaZulu-Natal. What's that? Avoid demonstrations and large gatherings as they may turn violent. Yep, just like South Africa. Previous demonstrations have resulted in many arrests, injuries and deaths. Just like South Africa. Monitor local media and follow the advice of authorities. And then it goes on to say, Venezuela has one of the world's highest crime rates. You know what's interesting there is that Caracas in Venezuela is one of only 2 cities in the world that has a higher crime rate than Pietermaritzburg in KwaZulu-Natal. And Caracas doesn't beat Pietermaritzburg by much, believe me. It's quite incredible. You can start seeing the similarities here, can't you? Violent crime including murder, armed robbery, kidnapping, drive-by shootings and carjackings is common. Hello? Add rape when you talk about South Africa. South Africa is the rape capital of the world. Australian officials adopt enhanced security measures when travelling by car, and so they do in South Africa too, by the way. Central Caracas, the Savannah Grande area, the Marquita Simon Bolivar Airport area, and the road between the airport and Caracas are particularly dangerous. What about the N2 between Cape Town International Airport and the city of Cape Town? Very, very dangerous. And you can pretty well pick off any major highway in South Africa now and just give that a tick in the box too, can't you? Look at the N3. There have been reports of muggings and kidnappings by criminals posing as taxi drivers and other violent crimes. Well, hello. South Africa does exactly the same. Venezuela has closed its land borders with Brazil and Colombia and maritime borders with Aruba, Curaçao and Bonaire until further notice. So that's Venezuela. I mean, that's literally, seriously, that could be South Africa. And because of the advice levels, they're saying just do not travel to Venezuela. Now, what do they say about South Africa? You know, like the Moody's rating waiting to go to junk with the rand? This is just waiting to go to that do not travel rating to South Africa. It's that close. I'll tell you right now. They've got a whole bunch of stuff in here, including serious crime, pay close attention to your personal security at all times, monitor media and other sources of information. I mean, it sounds just like Venezuela, but they kind of don't go into the full detail like they did with Venezuela. The Western Cape, including the city of Cape Town, has water restrictions in place. This is so out of date. Look at the south coast of Natal. There are dozens of places in South Africa which have that problem. And power, load shedding, Nelspruit, 10 hours off the grid yesterday, apparently. You know, this could be Venezuela. The frequency of most types of crime is significantly higher than in Australia. They're talking about South Africa now. Robberies are frequently reported on the roads and at shopping centres. Visitors to shopping malls should remain vigilant at all times. Avoid large gatherings and demonstrations as they can quickly turn violent. That's what they talked about in Venezuela. This is just like reading the Venezuelan travel advisory. Now, I will put those two links down below. And you can see that despite the fact that you've got so much black on white crime, you've got these loony lefties here in Australia who are putting the car wash on, giving a special exemption to white South Africans. And I really think that the best way to come out here is to actually just seek asylum. And I have an interesting situation I'm aware of. I'm not going to say who it is. I'm not going to say the factors surrounding it, but I'm just going to say that this is a South African woman, and she has sought asylum in Australia, and I know that they're looking at it favourably. That's all I can tell you at this stage, because I don't want to jump the gun, because they might reject it eventually. But just be aware that South Africans are now coming to Australia and seeking asylum because of the crime and what's going on there. And we're talking about white South Africans. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell to get the updates, and have a great day.